Ciao ragazzi, Inter Worldwide coming at you live once again, and I'm joined by two awesome guests today. First of all, usual suspect for Inter Worldwide, Mario Gagliano. Ciao, how are you, brother?
Yo, what's going on?
Good to hear from you again. And he's from the Laziali. He's the co-host of the Cultural Connection podcast. Thank you to our friend and favorite Lazio fan, Jerry Mancini, for coming back on the channel, bro. It's good to see you.
Likewise. Thank you for having me on again.
Anytime. So, big fixture coming up, but before we dive into the game, it's been a while since I've spoken to Mario, and with Jerry on the channel, let's talk a little bit about the fallout from the Coppa Italia against Juventus. Disappointing in the second leg, but just misfiring again. Conte, in my opinion, sets up the team to succeed, sets up the team to get into good positions, and I just feel like in terms when we get into the final third, I'm starting to actually think that the players are letting this guy down a little bit. So, Mario, first of all, your final thoughts on the game. Just be brief.
I think even though it's not the result we wanted, it's progress. Our finishing has been atrocious for what it should be all season. Lautaro misses chances. Lukaku misses chances. He went missing, but he's still an important presence. To walk out with the 0-0 draw was a bit of a letdown, but in the grand scheme of things, we're playing up to Juve's Scudetto caliber level, if you want to say, because now they're kind of scared to play us. They're struggling. They're not cakewalking past us and the rest of the league like they used to. We have a chance, and unfortunately not in Coppa Italia anymore. But I think what Conte is doing, it's good. It's good for the whole club as a whole, and sooner than later, it's going to start to click, like really click. We've seen it click on a low scale, but once Lautaro gets a little bit more consistent in front of goal, where instead of missing 5-6 goals, he puts 1 or 2 away, and then we can stop our bitching. But in the meantime, we're stuck with him. We don't really have too many options up there. The backups, Alexis is good, but he's not the kind of guy that's going to give you 15 goals, 20 goals a year. He's then after that, it's Pinamonti, who probably shouldn't be on the field for Inter at all. Mid-table, yes, but that's about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Jerry, from an outsider's point of view, watching Inter go out of the Coppa Italia, what did you make overall of us bombing out?
I think the two mistakes is what really made the difference in this game.
Yeah.
Like when you're down, you need 2 goals, and not bearing any of their chances in the first half. The game happened Tuesday, so I don't recall all the highlights. But Mario said it perfect. Lautaro Martinez missed a sitter, I believe, on the left side, and he kind of shanked the ball. Too many times he's done this season, and just like, I don't know, man. This guy has to be the complete goal scorer. I remember a few weeks ago where he scored that first goal, and I think it was against who was it against? Where we were calling him out, and he scored in the second half. Do you remember, Mario? Exactly when it was Eriksson was in the lineup. Trying to remember what game that was. It was a beatdown though. It was 4-0 they won.
Benevento?
That's it.
Yeah.
And that was the first goal, and people were like, this guy can score. The problem is he does it too inconsistently. And we get called out where he works hard. He wins challenges in the midfield. He wins the ball back. He does things that you don't see because he doesn't score them. But and I get that. But at the end of the day, you're a striker and you're judged purely on goals. And it's like Immobile when it comes to Italy. All that goes out the door because people don't care what he can do other than scoring. They want him to score goals. And it's kind of like a similar situation here where Lautaro has to score these goals. I did a stat, and I think that Lukaku has really dropped off in the last, I believe, 6 games. He only has 2 goals, and he's kind of dipped off too. So that's kind of concerning now. You got Martinez, who's not really performing right now, and now all of a sudden you got Lukaku, who's starting to drop off in his scoring. I think his form is still good. I won't take away Lukaku because just because he doesn't score doesn't mean that he's not playing well. Whereas Martinez, when he doesn't score, it's been consistent, not scoring, but he also disappears in other aspects too. Well, far too often. So I just think that with Lukaku, he's a player he doesn't score, that's fine. He's his hold up play, everything he does in the build up will allow other players to score. It allows Hakimi to score down the wing when he runs down. Like Lautaro Martinez should have been sold last summer. I looking in hindsight now, now looking forward, it's easy to judge and say, oh, we should have sold him before, but it's always a tough decision to sell somebody at his age and thinking that he has all this potential. So you can still get a lot of money back like you got for Icardi. So it's not like you're not going to get a good penny for him. So I say you sell him in the summer. I don't think he's going to be that full potential player that you guys probably thought he was going to be. I think he'll be a good striker, just too inconsistent for my liking.
Yeah, well, the thing is, strikers usually hit their peak form around about 27, 28. So there's still so much time. But what you said was so true, Jerry, and Mario said it, and Mo has said it, and I've said it. A lot of these forwards in Serie A, despite the fact that they're not scoring, if you take them out of their lineups, the team is a different looking team. Like you can't, just because Immobile is not scoring, you can't take him out of the lineup. Your side looks like a different lineup. Romelu Lukaku might not score, but as you said, the way he gets involved and holds that ball up, sometimes Barella, Hakimi, and Lautaro get an extra 10, 11 yards up the pitch before that ball even comes out of Lukaku. Despite the fact that Lautaro's misfiring, Mario and I have said before, this guy's probably one of the best pressers in the league. Like he will really force a turnover quickly. A lot of the time, Inter have gained possession back just from a goalkeeper from a shitty clearance or defender from a shitty clearance because Lautaro is just like a rat up their ass, honestly. And they clear it, Barella chests it down, and all of a sudden Hakimi is on the attack again. So I guess all of these players are still tactically doing what their manager is saying. They are still representing a role in the system that is integral. It's just, strikers need to score, forwards need to score. So I think we should just leave it at that, Lazio's coming up, but before we go to that, let's talk a tiny bit about the fallout between Antonio Conte giving the finger to the Juventus directors. And I don't know, man, I like to see that a little bit. I can't shake it, even though I hate the negative attention. But I just want to say, first of all, if that wasn't Juventus, if that was another side, they wouldn't be semi-investigating it. The fines would have already been delegated by now. But, Agnelli's involved in stuff, so I'm sure it'll all neutralize itself in a nice way. Mario, what did you make of the entire incident, man?
I don't know. It's ridiculous because he's a Juventino through and through. So to see him just completely turn on Juve, they had to be talking shit. They had to have provoked him in some stupid way, calling him a traitor, calling him whatever, to even bring it to that point because he's the captain of the Juve. He was, he would freaking die for Juve. I'm sure even today he would die for Juve if he had to. He'd be the first person in line in a battle for him. But to see something like that, it's absurd and it just shows you that these guys don't give a shit who you are, how long you've been with Juve. They don't care what happens. If you're not with them, you're against them 100%. And I think that's a fucked up mentality because he's as Juve as it gets. Like that, it's retarded.
Jerry, while you're here, man, a while ago, about a season and a half ago, you weren't Antonio Conte's biggest fan, not a fan of his ego and his theatrics on the sideline, very vocal about it. But don't worry, bro. I've heard you come around a little bit in the last maybe half a season. What's turned you around a little bit with Antonio Conte? But as well, what did you make of the little incidents throughout the Juve second leg towards the Agnelli and the Juventus directors?
I've been able to put up with his bullshit of complaining when they lose. I don't like it, but it's just his persona. That's what it is. And I've kind of understand it. And for me to hate that means I have to hate Inzaghi because he was like that too. So that would be like a hypocrite for me. Now, I think that he's really done something well with this team. Like they're growing, they're developing an identity, a philosophy. I know people are going to say, oh, we haven't seen trophies. And if Milan were to win this year, I'll have to hear, well, we got a Scudetto before Conte can do it in 2 seasons. I hate that. I'm sorry. Every team has a different tactic, a different window, a different way of going it. And when Conte came in, this team still didn't have that true identity. Like, I understand they had Spalletti, and Spalletti was good for 2 years, but what was the actual direction under Spalletti? I didn't watch much under Spalletti. I know that he brought them back to the Champions League. Okay, that's fine. But what did he accomplish? He didn't accomplish anything either. So
he sort of kind of just
caretaker.
He was a caretaker instead of being that mediocre team that had like no structure, that was like up and down, like mostly down. He kind of just brought it up to not even the level it's supposed to be, but like an acceptable level for what it was.
Our midfield under Spalletti was one of the worst midfields I've ever seen, man. That double pivot of Vecino and Gagliardini, we had to watch almost 94 minutes of no creativity every single week. Just get the ball out to Candreva, and if he crosses it, Icardi will score 1 out of 4 chances, and we all have a whinge on our podcast every single week. But, those times are over, and I see exactly what Jerry's saying. Conte has really brought a tactical identity, a sense of mentality to the side where there was none for how many years?
Yeah, look at it.
Hold on, and I agree with Mario. Like, Mario's been the hardest advocate, like, on Eriksen, and I agree with him. Eriksen should be playing, and we're starting to see that a little bit more now. And it wasn't really Conte who didn't want him in the lineup, because I sometimes wonder, maybe there was just like this idea that Conte just didn't see him for a reason from the beginning, and now he's slowly transitioning him for a reason. So is it really just Conte? Is it maybe Eriksen was something in the dressing room? Like, I hate that people are so quick to judge Conte because he didn't have him on the field, and now he brought out the best 11 against Juve, and in respect to Conte, they did shit. So now that he did it, he's still bad because all of a sudden, he put the best 11, it didn't work. We should have brought this maybe, or it's, you know what I mean? It's always vice versa. I hate it. I personally think, I said this off the record, I think that Eriksen should start over Brozovic. I think that Brozovic is so inconsistent. I don't give a crap. I don't care what the numbers say. I don't care that he's number 3 in covered space. I don't care he's number 2 in interceptions. Numbers don't tell the whole game. I'm sorry. XPG, XA, those are good if you want to see if it was a good game to watch. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. It's good to see if where the chances are created in the final third. But it doesn't dictate the whole game. It doesn't tell you how good a player plays inside the midfield, what he's doing to control. I could have sworn Brozovic gave away the ball like 3 or 4 times on Tuesday.
So cheaply.
In
the middle of the field. In the middle of the field, too. He's not like he's losing the ball on their third or on the sideline. He would literally lose it in the center of the midfield where they have 3 people just clogging the shit and then just free to counter.
No, absolutely. But I don't know, man. Like, I just think that if Eriksen, Sharma's in the house. See, Sharma's another one who loves Eriksen, and shout out to Sharma because he's another one that has advocated all season to let Eriksen play, and now I'm gonna be. I say you start him on Sunday over Brozovic. That's just me. A lot of people think that Luis Alberto and Sergei Milinkovic-Savic will tear him apart. I don't believe that. I think Eriksen has really good footwork. I think he has the whole package where he can play defensively, he can play offensively. I don't think he's a liability personally. And it's unfair to say he is when I had to read that.
That's a big roast fest already, man.
Screw Brozovic. I'm gonna slander him all day because he's so inconsistent. Sorry, man. I see him one game, he's like the best thing in the world, and then next game he's like gone. And again, he's been one of your best midfielder in past seasons. That cannot be taken away. But this season, he just doesn't look like the player he was last year. I remember against Lazio, he was like one of the best midfielders that you couldn't break down. And now maybe I'll end it like with this point. He's been overused. That's the problem. And that's why you're starting to see him start to dip in form. If you're going to play a guy every single competition, Coppa Italia, Serie A, Champions League, and think that he's going to be good every game, after a while, it's going to happen where it happened to Sergei Milinkovic-Savic this season. I'll be the first to say, and I rate him probably the best midfielder beside Barella. But when he didn't look good, it's because he plays so much that it wears you down, and you're not mentally prepared for games anymore. You dip off. So that's how I look at it.
100%, man. I agree with you for sure. And that being said, it's a good time to start dipping into these expected lineups for our fixture against you guys this week. You guys are the form team of the league at 6 on the bounce, isn't it, Jerry?
Yes, it is.
6 on the bounce. High in confidence, man. So we'll go to you first. Talk to us about how you think you're going to line up and, ease into your prediction. If I'm not mistaken, we're at home though, right? Do I need to double check that for a third time?
Yeah, you're home, but it doesn't really make a difference. Just no fans. So
it doesn't make a difference at all, to be honest.
It would have, you know what? Had this game been in front of 70,000 fans of Inter fans, this would be a very difficult match for Lazio. Yeah. I was looking at the stats, and Lazio has really had a hard time playing at the San Siro. I think we have 14 wins all time there as the visitor in Serie A, and in recent times, we've started to become the better team. We're undefeated in the last 2 games, which is encouraging if you're a Laziali. But I believe in the last 6 games, it has been decided by a goal or less as well. Yeah. 6 of the last 7 games have been decided by a goal or less.
Yeah, I think there was only one game in Serie A 2 years ago where it was not 3-0.
Icardi.
Yeah,
Icardi destroyed us. It was an ugly, rainy day. I remember that. It was on the Monday.
Yeah.
How I see this being lined up, I see Immobile up front with Correa. In the mid will be Maricic will play the left, Laziali on the right, and you'll have Luis Alberto, Milinkovic-Savic, and Lucas Leiva playing in the mid. And in the back, you'll have Radu on the left, Acerbi in the middle, and I saw today Musacchio is supposed to start on the right over Patrick. I don't even know how it was a debate that Patrick would start in this game. I like the way he works hard. He gives effort. But in a matchup against Inter, he'll be shredded apart. It doesn't matter if it's Perisic on the right. I don't care who you're playing on his side. He's outmatched. He's a good player to come off the bench late in the game to give you some energy, to maybe an extra defender if they're leading, but not to start the game. I liked what I saw from Musacchio last Sunday. I think this is a player who got really shit on in Milan personally. He went there in a time where this team was shit, okay? Like, this lacked identity, lacked anything possible. Didn't he come over from La Liga, Mary, you said last time? From Valencia?
He came over from Villarreal.
Villarreal, thank you. And you said he was really good there. I remember you telling on the pod.
He was a really good center back over there. 7 years, he was one of their top defenders in the league.
Like, you go to Milan and all of a sudden you think an injury, he had a bad injury, and now he comes back, he gets a new culture, a new fresh start. And he looks,
though. Didn't he play right back majority of the time at Milan after playing majority center back at Villarreal?
That I would not know. That's something.
Oh, sorry, I thought he was. Sorry, man.
That I don't know. I think he played in a back 4 all his life, right? Right, Mario? Or
yeah.
I don't know too much about him. I just think that he looked good as a back 3 on last Sunday. He looked composed and calm. Like, he looked like a natural. No issues. Just, I think that his fitness level needs to get back to the level it was, but that will come in time. But I'm pretty sure he always played in a back 4 as a right back. That I think you're right. But
as a right back or a center back? He was a center back.
Was he a center back?
Sorry, for some reason, I thought he was playing right back when Pioli first took over.
In Milan? I don't.
At Milan, yeah. At Milan.
Okay.
No, they had Alberto at the time.
Sorry?
So.
Say that again?
No, never mind.
Yeah, I'll look it up later. It's not important.
Yeah.
I'll answer his question. Correa only has 2 goals. I've heard a rumor. It was actually not a rumor. It was on his Instagram account. Correa actually broke up with his girlfriend this season, and it's really has taken an effect on him personally because his form has been up and down, and he said that it took a toll on him. So he looks good in recent time, much better, but I think he's a player to look out for on Sunday.
Yeah, fair enough. So did I get the lineup right, man?
And then Peperena starting in net. Absolutely. That's the starting lineup I got.
Yeah, really, really good. I think it looks pretty good, to be honest. I think that we're going to struggle a little bit to break you guys down as we have in the final third for majority of this season. So I'll go over to Mario to look at us for a little bit. I guess in terms of our lineup, bro, the only discrepancies are in midfield because I don't think you can really touch our back four at the moment. Our back three at the moment. That's pretty untouchable. Hakimi is fit, so he is going to start. Barella, Brozovic, and Gagliardini I have in midfield. Me personally, I would have put Vidal. Someone as knowledgeable as Sharma can probably fact check me if Vidal's injured or suspended or unavailable because I don't know why Antonio Conte would not start Vidal if he's fit in this fixture. But I did read this morning as I woke up that Gagliardini is likely. That's why I've slotted him in there. And if I'm not mistaken, a couple of days ago, it was pretty much circulating that Perisic was getting the nod over Ashley Young. Mario's face does not look that impressed. That was kind of the same face I made when I saw it the first time. With Lautaro and Lukaku misfiring, it doesn't look that crash hot. So what are your thoughts, man?
I'm sick and tired of this Gagliardini starting bullshit. It's so frustrating to watch him play when you have Eriksen on the bench. You put your best three. If it's Vidal, Brozovic, Eriksen, fine. If it's Vidal, Barella, Eriksen, fine. But you can't be starting Gagliardini in a game like this. He's a freaking waste. He's gonna get a chance on a cross, a header or a volley in the 6-yard box, and he's gonna miss. I'm calling it right now. If he starts and he plays 90 minutes, he's gonna have the chance of a lifetime. Nothing. So that's where I sit on him, and I need him to get the fuck out of this team as soon as possible. But Jerry, I wanted to ask you what you would think of the Hakimi going against who is it, Marusic and Radu. How do you think that matchup is going to go?
I think what's going to happen possibly is that Marusic is going to play more back and play more defensive, not allowing him to break with his speed. Mm-hmm. I think you're not going to see Marusic play high up on the left wing. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Now, the positive thing about Stefan Radu is we got him right now looking like fine wine, aging, and looking much stronger than I ever would have thought at the age of, I believe he's 35 now. And he doesn't look a step behind. That's the impressive part. Whereas Sena Lulic does look like he's a step behind now. Like the difference. And his injury did take a toll on him. So I'm curious to see how Hakimi attacks Stefan. He's a veteran, experienced center back. So that's a positive. Now, imagine if it was Musakio or Patrick. I'd be concerned about Musakio because he's not 100% fit. So that would have been a little dangerous. So I can see Marusic playing more back. I can also see him playing high because he's a very fast player too, right? So it can go either way. You guys actually do believe that Gagliardini is going to start on Sunday? Because I wrote a tweet hoping that he would start, but people laughed at me. I
wouldn't be surprised if he starts.
I wouldn't either, to be honest.
I just hate him. I just hate watching him start.
I agree. When I don't know if it's similar roles, but when you got a guy like Eriksen who should be playing in the midfield maybe instead of Gagliardini, like I don't know if that intertwines, if it doesn't, if that can work. Gagliardini, Brozovic, and you got Barella. It got started on Tuesday. I don't see why it couldn't work again on Sunday against Lazio. If you're gonna do it against Juventus with a weaker mid, and it was a strong combination against Juventus. I don't think it was bad. Like, could be worse with Gagliardini, right? So,
100%.
Or maybe you start Stefano Sensi, but that won't happen either. But
he's got 10 minutes in his legs if he's lucky, if it's not raining.
Yeah, that's true.
This sort of fixture, the magnitude of this fixture and the Milan fixture, you can't start Sensi. He's too made of glass. I'd rather chuck him in against, a team where we can probably get the job done easier. In terms of that register role, I think Conte starts Brozovic out of sheer safety, just because of trust issues. And for that, I can't really complain with.
That's the fucked up thing. He's not even safe anymore.
He's not, bro. He's misplacing passes as early as like the 4th and 5th minute of the game. It's not even late in the game where he's fatigued. It's like at the start of the freaking game as well. He's just
It's the
misplacing
start,
passes.
the middle, the beginning. He's always
Easy passes out from defensive mid. Man,
Will this
We'll
game be
see.
winning the win? I just saw the question.
Yeah.
If you're Hakimi, yes, it could be one on the wing, and if you're Laziali, it could be run on the opposite wing. That's the scary part is that they play on opposite wings. They don't play against each other. Had Hakimi play Laziali on the same wing, I don't think that the wings can be winning this match. But because they're on opposite sides, it's whoever exploits their defender easier, I guess. But I think that this game might be where Lazio might sit back and try to attack on the counter. That's where I see Lazio might be doing on Sunday, where they'll let Inter sulk up all the possession, but when the chances come, they're going to attack. That's how I see it.
and that's what I'm very, very worried about, man. I'm worried about us, trying to penetrate that goal, and then all of a sudden, all Immobile needs is one look, Mario, and we'll all be with our heads in our hands, man. So I really hope that we come to play. I think in terms of our lineup, watch out for Barella, man. He'll pull it out of absolutely nowhere. And yeah, we'll see. What do we got here? What's Mario? Ericsson, Brozovic,
All Immobile needs is from penalty. That's all he needs.
Sorry?
You know what, man? You know what? That hasn't been the case this season, and
he's been better with that.
That's the best part is that he's been scoring without penalties, and he has 13 goals this season, and I would say maybe 2 have been from penalties, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3, but I think that's very impressive. And if he gets a chance, I agree, he will make it count. I think the guy to watch out for is Milinkovic-Savic. He's got 3 goals in the last 4 games against Inter. That I know off the record. I know off by heart. He is a Inter killer. 2 seasons ago, the season prior, 2018-19, I remember he scored from his mom's birthday at the San Siro, went right to the screen, kissed it. Last season, scores at the Stadio Olimpico, 2-1 winner. And then this season, he scores a gift of a header. Should have been covered, but it happens. But
better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But I think that the midfield battle is very intriguing of Milinkovic-Savic versus Barella. And I know that the two play different roles, but they are going to be seeing each other eye to eye. And I just want to see who's more physical, who can win the battles, who can contain possession and basically attack into the final third. I think that's really I want to see what happens on Sunday. I know that you're going to look at the wings, but we also have to look at the midfield and how we move forward. So I think that's another area that is really intriguing because you got a guy like Luis Alberto who can also create when he's on his game. Whereas I think that if Inter has a guy like Gagliardini now, you kind of lose that creativity where if a Vidal or Ericsson was in there can offer you something different, something more. So that is a benefit for Lazio if Gagliardini starts. So
yeah.
And
the last
time these two teams played, Gagliardini didn't even play, did he? I think it was Barella, Vidal, and Brozovic. Okay.
I remember Ashley Young played in the last game as well, so I don't know if he's going to start over Perisic, but we'll see what happens there. Either way, you don't really have much to worry about on our left-hand side of the pitch. It's pretty much just going to be go out to one of the experienced players, and one of them will try and do a crossover and then a cross, which you'll probably be able to head out of the box pretty easily, to be honest. Let's go over to predictions on where we think the game is. Oh, wait, before we do that, I'm setting our podcast for the fans. Ask, will Inter still press with Reina so good on the ball? Jerry, do you think that's a factor in this game?
I think that if he gets the chance, he will he'll try to catch them off guard, off the counterattack. He likes to advance the ball very quickly. And if he can catch Inter high up on the press, he will do it. I think that's what he'll be looking for, 100%. That's Reina type style, and he's been really good with his passes this season. I don't know what the numbers are, what the stats are. That's Uncle Sharma's category. That's his niche. The guy has stats from I don't know where the fuck he gets them, but good for him. But
He just checked us in place there. Gagliardini did start last time, and Perisic as well. I'm thinking of the game where Ashley Young scored the first goal against you guys in the first half, and then you equalized deep. It's probably the season before that, then when we were wearing the black and gold jersey. So my bad on that one.
But inter pressing, it's scary, man. Because if they play high up and Reina gets them caught off, and I remember it was against shit. I don't remember who they. It was a long ball, and he got it right to Immobile, and Immobile headed it off to Correa, and Correa scored. And I think that was in their last game.
Oh, that was against Atalanta, wasn't it?
Yes, and he caught them off the press. Reina is very quick at catching people off the press, so I'm just curious to see if he does that to Inter, because it's possible.
I don't think they get beat like that, though. I think that's a very rare case.
You're right.
Conte is going to make sure that the team presses as high as possible, closes down the space until midfield, and keeps it as compact and tight as possible. So if Reina plays that ball, if he has enough time to play that ball and everyone's on point on the runs, you're going to have Bastoni, De Vrij, and Skriniar all being able to cover because he just organizes them so well. He's probably going to point that out and make it a point. Do not let him hit those balls, and if he does, make sure that either Immobile does not win the ball, you foul him, and then the two center backs have to drop. Barella or Brozovic has to drop because if you always see how he plays, the two center backs, they like to go forward, and then the two center mids, one of them always drops. So it's always three in the back. Sometimes it looks like it's four. So I know there's been a lot of controversy with specific Inter fans where they say we play a 4-3-3, or 4-4-2, which I don't understand how you could possibly think that. But yeah, I guess in like a situational for like 30 seconds, it turns into a four-man defense just for the cover. But it's really not the case. And I think that Lautaro pressing and Lukaku pressing so high, it's not going to give him that ability to play an accurate enough ball to Immobile's head or to the wings, especially when you have Perisic and Hakimi who work so hard up and down on the lines. They will also be sort of taken out of the equation, so he's going to have to play a short ball rather. And then the center backs will have to play that ball, but I don't think it's going to be as effective as it should be.
It's a game for players to step up, in my opinion. It's a real game for players to step up, especially those like Lukaku, Lautaro. For Inter, it's just going to come down to who wants to step up, crush a few rumors out there and say that, we're still in the running to win this title, because if we drop points in this fixture, Mario, and we drop points in the Milan derby as well, the outlook's going to be pretty grim, because I expect Juventus to start collecting points pretty easily. They're just starting to find their form. Their fluidity is hitting levels that they haven't had this season yet. Sometimes they're not even starting their best midfield, and they're still looking a lot better than they did at the start of the season. So Pirlo's doing his thing there, and it's very, very important to not drop points at all. We're in the back end of the season now, match day 21 or 22, whatever it is. I think it's 21. It's no time to drop any more points or fixtures. So prediction-wise, I'll do the hard one. I don't know, man. I hate being optimistic, so I can't predict an Inter victory like this because I just don't foresee happiness on a Monday morning on my way to work. But I'm going to go 1-1. Inter score first, sit back, absorb pressure for most of the game, and in between that hot spot of about the 64th and 77th minute, the equalizer will come, and it'll come from Immobile. So, yeah, I think one of our forwards scores, Lautaro or Lukaku, and Immobile, 1-1 for me. Mario?
I was thinking 1-1, but then the more I thought about it, and I like a 2-0 win. I feel like we catch a couple lucky stupid goals, but maybe like a Lukaku goal out of nowhere, and I don't know, maybe Barella hits like a banger.
Yeah, you love your defensive set piece predictions as well, like De Vrij, Bastoni, or Skriniar from a header. That's always a possibility with us. It doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it feels like it always happens, but it never really happens. Jerry, what do you think, man? You optimistic about your boys?
Yes, only because of the form they're in. And if they weren't winning 6 in a row, unbeaten 7, I would probably think vice versa. But this is a team that's playing with a lot of confidence, playing for each other, finding ways to win. And I go with 2-1. And Milinkovic-Savic scores the game winner in the 94th minute. I'm gonna stick by what I've been saying on every show this week. I think that Savic is the killer in this game, and I'm going to go by it. I will give the constellation goals to Lukaku, and I'll give one to Immobile. But I just think that Savic will come up big when he has to because he just loves to play against Inter. I think that they can dominate in the midfield, depending on who Conte starts, obviously. But I just think that this team's playing, like Mobile is playing with great form right now. Savic is playing with great form. Cherby's been the best defender probably in Serie A this year. And you got Laziali, who's starting to look much better on the wing. Maricic has really evolved into that left wing back that Lazio have been lacking for the last 2 seasons, other than having Lulic, who's been on the decline. So a lot of the pieces are in place here. And then again, you have Inter, who only have lost 1 game, I believe, in the last 18, if I'm not mistaken, which is ridiculous too. So that's the only loss was against Sampdoria in the Serie A.
In Serie A, yes.
Yeah, in Serie A.
Yeah.
So it's
Serie A podcast predicts Inter 1-0 to De Vrij. I'm sure Jerry Mancini would love to see that. Big De Vrij fan with the history there. We won't go into that. Tim says 2-1 to Inter. Look, either way, I think it's going to be scrappy. I think it's going to be gutsy. I think you're going to see a bit of a physical match here. And I'm really looking forward to that midfield battle as well and seeing Hakimi do his thing. And hopefully we get him enough chances because, if we can get Hakimi into dangerous positions, that's probably our best shot at breaking down the Lazio goal. I would like to see Hakimi improve his crossing. That'll be the last thing we talk about in this game, Mario. He's getting himself in such good positions, but I feel like his finishing crossing product is still actually quite below average at the moment, man.
Yeah, it's like I think he waits too long to make the cross, and it's just not accurate enough sometimes. I mean, given that every team we play, they stack the box 4 or 5 guys at a time just to make sure Lukaku has no space, has no angle for a goal, and that he's always covered, leaving pockets of space for a rebound or something else. But he really hasn't been dangerous. He got that one assist to Perisic in the last game, last week, which is good to see because he made a spectacular run and just laid it off for him pretty much. But those aren't the kind of goals that you're going to score. Like that's the same thing with the Correa goal. You're rarely gonna have Immobile win a header where Correa can just run with 50 yards of space one-on-one with the goalie. It's impossible. Perisic open back post unmarked. He passed the ball across the whole. It was a FIFA goal. That doesn't happen. And because of that, Lukaku hasn't been as efficient in front of goal because the crosses aren't there, the runs, the defense, whatever the case is. Tactically, either you have to put the balls in earlier from a different angle, and Perisic on the other side, if he starts, he does the same stupid shit every single time. Gets the ball, faces the defender, waits, then goes onto his left foot on that smooth but ineffective left foot. Cross right into the defender, we get a corner. That's why I say maybe the defenders score because it's either going to go out for a corner or it's going to go out for him for a goal kick or he just tries it again and nothing. It's our crossing for what it is. It should be better because we have the people that are capable. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
to be honest, Ashley Young's probably our best crosser from wide sides. And it's unfortunate because as he's getting on in his years, that's actually the only attribute he's actually got left, in my opinion. Very safe player, has actually very good defensive awareness, but his current athleticism lets him down. Currently has great decision-making. I've always said he's a very intelligent footballer, physicality-wise. Letting him down. His brain's telling him to do one thing. His body's going, come on, man, maybe 7 or 8 years ago, but not now. So I think Perisic gets the nod for Conte just out of being a little bit more athletic and physically durable at the moment. But that's pretty much it from us today, guys. I just want to thank Jerry Mancini for coming on, man, and look forward to speaking to you soon, bro.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Likewise.
All right. And Mario, hopefully we're linking up very soon with more happy news, man, and we'll see you before the Milan game for sure.
Yeah, let me know. I'll be around, I don't do much during my day.
If you're in the video right now, don't forget to like before you leave. From all of us here at Inter Worldwide, Forza Inter. Ciao, ragazzi.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.